Hey Echo, push over. Push over. Come on, we're going to film right now. Hey everyone, I'm Wendi Blum and this is Echo Love. And today we're talking about 5 of my all-time favorite books. Echo, do you have anything that you want to contribute there? So I invite you to grab a cup of tea and pull up a chair. Echo, oh baby, oh lovey. So the very first book that comes to mind for one of my all-time favorite books is Eat, Pray, Love. And when I first read that book, when it came out, it was the year that I turned 45. And I started that year a different way of celebrating my birthday. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to gift my friends a weekend and I wanted to give them gifts. And I made everyone a gift bag, and in that gift bag, I gave them that book, Eat, Pray, Love. It was the very first time that I started looking at life from a brand new lens. It was at that time that I fell passionately in love with Bali, Indonesia. I didn't know back then that I would lead retreats and groups to Bali every year. I'm going this year for the 5th time. I'm excited about doing a travel vlog while I'm there in Bali. But that book really spoke to me. She talked about being on the floor crying, going through difficult parts of life and feeling like a victim to life. And then she broke that pattern. She broke out and started to explore the world, and she started to explore herself on that journey. And I felt like that was a blueprint that I could follow for my life. And many of the people that I gave the book to, they said that they hadn't read books in many, many years, and they read that book and it was significant in their lives. So it's something that we live on and on and on. I love giving books out as gifts or loaning books. So my second book is Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Actually, I lent that book to a friend 3.5 years ago. And I said to her when I lent her that book, I said, I have a lot of it highlighted. I have notes in the columns and circled and underlined. And I read that book really intensely. I wanted to take in all of the messages around love. And it's interesting because she said she just reread it recently and she finds herself gravitating to some of the parts of the book that I highlight. But that book made me think in a different way about love and self-love. I always was looking for validation in the outer world, looking for somebody else to complete me, to make me feel whole. And to think that I had everything that I needed inside of me and that love is within all of us, actually named him Mr. Echo Love. And so that book was really meaningful. And then the third book is The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I love that this book was written decades ago. The author, Joseph Murphy, bye Echo, Joseph Murphy, talks about the power of our subconscious mind. This is another book that I read slowly, that I read over and over and over again. He talked about that our thoughts become our reality, and that through the power of auto-suggestion, you give a suggestion of a new thought or a new belief into your mind, and if you do it over and over again, the mind will eventually absorb that idea as being true. Also has affirmations, and that's when I first started using daily declarations of repeating a statement in a positive form over and over and over again to create new belief systems. I haven't read that book in a while, but that is a book that I pick up every few years or so. Book number 4 is actually The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And that book is so simple. It's an easy read. So it's a very short book. It's a smaller book, but it has so much punch to it. I love that he broke down these concepts of 4 principles to to live by. And one of them that I really hold near and dear to my heart is not to take anything personal. And that idea around what somebody else thinks about me is not my business, and not to take anything personal. We're all doing the best that we can at the level of consciousness and awareness that we have in our life circumstance. We never know somebody else's circumstance. Another one of the principles is be impeccable with your word, and that's something I've been working on. I figured I'd be working on that for a lifetime. All of these principles you work on for a lifetime, but it's a GPS, it's a gauge to say, yes, I want that goal. I want to be impeccable with my word. And then number 5 is The Artist's Way, written by Julia Cameron. And this book, I don't know how it landed on my nightstand, but I'm so glad that it did. It was the beginning of so much for me. Julia talks about morning pages, just brain dumping. It's conscious stream writing, first thing in the morning. And I had never written. I maybe had done a diary when I was a kid, but it kickstarts the brain to flow, and without judgment, you write. And what happened when I started that process, I actually started writing these ideas, and then I decided to actually write these messages on t-shirts. It started a clothing line for me called What Is Your Destiny, an inspiration clothing line. And then from there, I realized I had so much more than I wanted to say that would actually fit on a t-shirt. So I started books, and I was just taking one step in front of the next step. But that process of morning pages, and I never would have said I was a creative person, and now I love being a creative person. I believe that we are all creative. Whether that part of us is dominant or not may or may not be true, but the artist's way awakens the artist that's in each one of us. I love reading. I love learning. I'm so curious. I suspect you are too. Leaders are readers, and that is one consistent. Those that are most successful read, and they read a lot of books. CEOs, they read 50 books a year. I heard that number, 50 books a year. Hungry for knowledge, to improve, to grow, just a little bit, one page, one book at a time. So thanks so much for being here. I wish you much success in your life. If you took something away that's meaningful for you, if you like or comment or subscribe below, I'd be so grateful. And I wish for you a magnificent day in every way.